Hello, welcome back to EHAB Indonesia 2020 Goes Online. This is Institution Webinar Series. My name is Anton Hilman. I'm going to be moderating this webinar. This webinar is going to be presented by the representative of LCC International University, Lithuania. Please stay tuned until the end of this webinar because after the presentation, we will hold a Q&A session. If you have any question about the presentation or anything related to the institution, you can submit your question in YouTube's comment section anytime throughout the presentation. And now, please welcome LCC International University, Lithuania.
Hello, it's a pleasure to take part in this education fair and present our university. I'll share my screen and will show you my presentation about our university. So my name is Vidmanta and I'm admissions director at LCC, and I'm myself a graduate from LCC International University, and it's my 8th year now working in the university and representing our university. I had myself a great experience, and I believe in the university and what we can offer. And it's such a pleasure to represent our university even to the audience in Indonesia. Well, LCC International University is an American-style university located in Lithuania, in actually geographical center of Europe. So it happened to be that a very small country like Lithuania is a geographical center of Europe. And our neighbors are Latvia, Poland, Belarus, and there is a small fraction of Russia called Kaliningrad region. And LCC is, as I mentioned, is a North American style university. And if you are looking for studies in the United States, we have very typical liberal arts small university located in Lithuania. And we are not affiliated with any other university in the United States or Canada. So we were founded by Canadian and American foundations, and as well as some foundations here in Lithuania. So we are not a big university. We have a campus in one place, and there are around 650 students in our university who are studying full time. So it's not a big university. However, there are benefits in studying in a small size because our classes are small. So there are around 15, 20 students per classroom. So students really are able to ask questions, engage into discussions, learn from each other. And we are also a liberal arts university. And this is a very typical educational model in the United States. And liberal arts university provides broad-based education. Later on, I'll cover the programs that are offered at LCC, and I'll talk more about what that means. LCC is also a very international university, and we are international in terms not only in terms of student body, but as well as our faculty members. So 70% of all our faculty members are coming from North America, meaning from Canada and the United States. About 30% of all professors are coming either from Europe, Lithuania, or other places of the world. And we are also very international in terms of students, and 75% of all students are coming from 53 different countries. So it's a very small, but a very international hub in our city of different cultures, of different traditions. And we say that even our campus, our university, has its own culture, LCC culture. LCC is called a Christian university. There are around Lithuania and Europe a lot of universities that are Christian universities. However, that does not limit us. We accept students from various worldviews, different cultural backgrounds, and and we do not require any student to be in one or another religion or faith. We accept everyone, and we believe that each culture, each worldview enriches our community, and we are able to listen to each other, to learn from each other. But we are a Christian university because this is because of the place where we are in Lithuania, in Europe, and that relates to the history of the continent. We are fully accredited university in Europe, in Lithuania, so it has European accreditation. And at the moment, we are working on our American accreditation just to have another asset, another attractive tool to attract more students. However, we are fully accredited in EU, and the diplomas are recognized worldwide. So our students after graduation, they do not have any problems entering any other university in the world. So we are also relational university. And that's a benefit of a small university. We say if a student is looking for a university where they want to sit in a big classroom and not be noticed for those 4 years, so this is not a place. So this is a place for students who like to be noticed, and we know all our students by names, by last names. We call our professors by their first name. We have teas and coffees and dinners with our professors and their families, so we know each other. When we graduate, we know and we have friends across the world, and that's a very unique thing of studying in a small size university. So that's a beauty of being a relational university, that you actually make friends all over the world. So we are more social science and humanities university, and we have 6 bachelor degree programs. We have a BA program in international business administration, contemporary communication, English language and literature, international relations and development, psychology, and theology. So before that, I mentioned that LCC is liberal arts university, and a liberal arts educational model provides a broad-based education. So, for example, just to give you an example, so someone chooses to study business administration, and students, then they choose a major, so we call majors, the main program where they want to get deep knowledge and get professionals. Then they also get to choose a module or concentration field where they want to concentrate more within the major. So within the major, students can choose, for example, in business, from economics, finances, management, or marketing. So they specifically choose an area where they want to focus more. So as well as any other program, for example, in contemporary communication, students can choose from journalism, information technologies, media, and similar things. English language and literature, that would be teaching literature or translation and interpretation. International relations and development, that could be public relations, that could be advocacy or NGO work. Psychology, and psychology gives broad quite a range of subjects to choose, so that also covers clinical psychology, organizational psychology, counseling, and other fields of psychology. So students choose the major, the main program where they want to concentrate and become professionals, but they also get to choose modules outside major. So students who are not really sure what they want to study, or they might be interested in a few and several programs, so then they can choose the major, and then they can choose the module outside major. So I myself graduated from the program in English. So my major was English, and I also got to choose psychology as my module. So students have a lot of freedom to make up their own program plan. So they choose the courses that they are interested in, or they think that it might benefit them in the future. Just to mention that I don't have a slide here, but we also have 2 master programs. We have master's program in international management and master's program in TESOL, teaching English as a second language. So these are two master programs that we have, and they are mostly taught online. So as I mentioned before, we have full student campus. All international students and local students who are coming to study, they get priority housing. So if they decide to live on campus, so we guarantee housing on campus. And on campus, we also have a gym, sports center, and it's the university campus is located near the city center. It's just 10 minutes walking to the city center and around 30 minutes walk to the Baltic Sea. So students can enjoy this location because the city center is easily accessed, and also they can, if they want to have rest, they can go to the forest, to the beach, and enjoy their time there. We also have resident halls on campus. I have a few pictures here. So it's our university campus from a distance. So this is our academic center where students study and where administration is. These are two resident buildings. So 70% of all our students, they live on campus, and it's a very nice community life where they learn together, study together, cook and share food together. And these are pictures from the room, how it looks like from inside. Rooms are shared. It's usually 3 to 6 people in the room. It's like one apartment with a few rooms where 2 beds are located. So it's not really reflected how it's situated. So this is the kitchen. So each floor has a big kitchen with a lounge area and where the life happens, where people become friends and they share their own cultures. We also have sports hall, a fitness center, and a gym that students can use for free and be active. And as a very typical North American style university, we also have a separate student life department, and student life department takes care of our students after the academic classes. So we believe in holistic education. We believe that a lot of education happens outside classrooms. So that's why we have different kind of student clubs. Student clubs are usually led by the students themselves. So if a student comes to university and they don't find a club that they would like to join, they can initiate and found a club themselves and gather like-minded people. We also have 9 leadership development programs where students can actually get hired on campus and they practice and develop their leadership programs. We also have different kinds of cross-cultural programs. We have sports activities, we have professional basketball team, and we also have 2 football teams, female and male football teams. So there's a lot of life happening outside classes, how to develop and grow as personality. We also have exchange programs. So studying abroad is already quite an experience. However, we encourage our students to go beyond what we offer. So Erasmus Plus program is an exchange program with other European universities. So students in the 2nd year and 3rd year, they can choose to study in other university in other European country. And that's even a better option for those who want to experience Europe more. We also have other international programs. We have actually exchange program with one university in China, Georgia, Indonesia as well, South Korea, and the USA. So students in the 2nd year and or 3rd year, they can choose to spend the semester in other university. We also have work and travel programs. So academic year takes 8 months, and there are 4 months of summer holiday. So summer holiday is a quite long time. So during which we encourage our students to spend summer working, and in this way help to finance their own studies. Work is also possible on campus or off campus during the academic year. So international students, once they get the permission to stay in Lithuania legally, then they can work in Lithuania and in Europe in general. Yeah, so I mentioned just that there are on-campus and off-campus opportunities. Work and Travel USA program. So this is a very popular program for our students that they can apply and get permission to go to the United States and work there during summertime. A lot of students use this opportunity to travel a little bit, to visit United States and to help to finance their own studies. So the application process to LCC is quite simple, we would say. I would just encourage you all not to be afraid to try to apply to different universities. Sometimes it seems that the process is quite difficult. However, just try. So in order to apply to LCC, we would encourage you to apply early. So the early application deadline is January 30th, and the late one is April 15th. So we also accept applications for the spring semester. Usually the deadlines to apply for the spring semester is by November 15th. However, we accept applications on the rolling basis. So once we receive the application, we start working on that. We have 2 intakes. So the main one is September, when the bigger group starts in September, but it's also possible to start studies in January. So the first steps that students have to do is to fill in an application form online. So there's our website, www.lcc.lt. There you would find our application form. You would have to fill it in. If you do not have all the documents requirement at the time when you fill in the application form, that's still okay. You'll be able to submit the remaining documents later. So once we receive your application form, then you are assigned a counselor, and the counselor will follow up with you regarding the next steps and the document requirements. The main things that we require from you are English proficiency test, high school grades for the last 3 years, and also attending an interview. So we require all students to take English proficiency test. There are some waivers for some students who are native speakers or they studied in one of the English-speaking countries, but we usually ask for TOEFL, IBT, TOEFL, ITP, or IELTS. So if these are in the slide, you can see our minimum requirements. However, if your English skills are a bit lower, we still have intensive English program for those who are academically fit for our university. However, the academic skills are a bit lower from what we require, but then students would be considered first for the intensive English program. An intensive English program usually takes 1 or 2 semesters. Then another thing that we require when you apply to LCC, if you're still in high school, you still can apply at the time. And that means that you would have to provide us your high school grades for the last 3 years. We would make decision based on your high school grades with a condition that when you graduate from high school, you provide us your final secondary education documents. And once we receive your application, once we receive your English proficiency test and your high school grades or diploma, then we will schedule an interview for you. And the interview usually takes 30 minutes. And you don't have to prepare for that because we want to get to know you better as a candidate for university, to understand your motivation, your career goals, future goals, and similar things. There are always country-specific requirements what relates to the secondary education documents. So you are welcome to contact us for more details to know whether your diploma, your secondary education documents and qualifications fit our requirements, because I won't be covering that because that would be too many details. But we are eager to consult you individually and to discuss each individual case. So full tuition fee for 1 academic year is 3,240 euros. So as an American university, we are considered cheap. However, we are in Lithuania, and in Lithuania, people tend not to pay for their studies because the government provides tuition-free places. In order to be competitive university in the region, we have to keep our tuition fee as low as possible. That's why our tuition fee is subsidized by generous donors from the United States and Canada that support students like you. So the prime program, intensive English program at LCC costs half of the BA program. So if you want to study at LCC, however, your academic English skills are a bit lower, then the tuition fee for the intensive English program called Prime is 1,620 euros per academic year. And housing, on-campus housing per month is approximately 112 euros, 120 euros. So these are the tuition prices. Additionally to that, we also offer different kinds of financial aid. So we get donations from the donors who want to invest in people like you. So we have two types of financial aid. One type is called merit-based scholarships, and another type of financial aid is called need-based aid scholarships. So merit-based scholarships depends on your academic achievements, on how active you are, if you're studying well, if your admission score is high. So then you could be considered for merit-based scholarships that could cover from 50 to 100% of your tuition fee. Our scholarships and other financial aid does not cover housing or living expenses, but all of our financial aid covers and helps to cover the tuition fee costs. So I was mentioning need-based aid. A need-based aid is financial aid that depends on your family's financial situation. So if you do not get merit-based scholarship, but you want to study at LCC, you get admitted to LCC, and but you think that your family can't afford paying full tuition fee. So then there's a separate application that you could fill in and provide us with documents that would show your financial situation. And based on your family's financial situation, it's possible to get from 10 to 90% of the tuition discount for the first year. And students have to reapply for the need-based aid each year because the situation might change. We also have different kind of programs for students who want to experience Europe, who wants to do something after they school, but they don't want to commit for 4 years. So we have also gap year programs and summer programs. So a gap year is a program for 1 or 2 semesters. If you just recently graduated from your high school and you have no idea what to do, but you still don't want to commit to one or another university, you could choose to spend a semester in our university and get some academic credits, and that would be transferable to any other university, and also travel around Europe, experience the culture, volunteer locally, and get some work experience. And we also have Summer Language Institute, that is a summer language course in July for 3 weeks to practice and learn English. So these are main summer programs or year programs for those who do not want to commit fully for 4 years. Okay, I mentioned that. So that's the main information about our university. You are always welcome to contact us directly to ask more questions. I know that on our booth you will find more information about WhatsApp contacts. So if you have any questions, you can ask now. We will cover those questions, or later you can contact us to ask more questions. Feel free to do that. As I have a few minutes, I would like to show you a video about our university. It's a nice video, so I just want to share that with you. And just give me a second to open it. Okay. That's it. This one. Okay.
The world is open and full of adventure, connected by hundreds of cultures and beliefs, fueled by the curiosity of young minds, and shaped by leaders brave enough to explore new ways of thinking and living. People who creatively solve problems and continuously reinvent themselves. We gather from around the world to live and study together. Our community forges friendships that last a lifetime and make the entire world feel like home. This is a place where motivation meets opportunity. Opportunity to live and study among different cultures of Europe, America, Asia, and beyond. Where curious minds learn how to solve problems creatively. Where we learn how to become a professional for a lifetime. A professional who is able to shift and adapt to the ever-changing reality of tomorrow. We are LCC, a North American university in the heart of Europe, full of opportunities and adventure, a place to start. Take a brave step into the world. Join LCC International University.
All right. Okay, maybe you have some questions.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Fidmante, for your presentation. Now we'll begin the Q&A session, and I will read the question from YouTube comment section. Sorry. The first question, it goes, how to apply to the exchange program for Indonesian students?
Yeah, well, first of all, the student, if you want to go to our university as an LCC student, first of all, you have to become an LCC student. So we send our own students to other university. If you are studying in a university in Indonesia and you would like to become an exchange student in our university, so then you and your university will have to contact us and see if that could be worked out. So because that would depend on your university, whether your university would allow you to go on our exchange program.
Okay, thank you for your answer. Next question, it goes, for Indonesian high school student, is it okay to apply with the National High School Diploma?
Yes, it's okay. So how the qualification recognition works in Europe is that we basically look for diplomas and qualifications that work in your country. So we look what are the requirements in your own country in order to get access to university. So if it's a diploma that grants you access to university in Indonesia, so that also works for us.
Okay, thank you for your answer. The next question, it goes, for the student with the international curriculum, A-level or IB, is it possible to apply with the prediction score?
Yes, it's we understand when you're still in high school, when you're in the process to get your diploma. So yes, you can apply at the moment, even though you haven't finished the school. And we make the admissions decision based on your current results. And if you get admitted to university, we usually issue conditional acceptance with a condition that you successfully graduate from high school and provide us your final diplomas.
All right. Thank you for your answer. Next question. It goes, for master admission, do students need to provide a recommendation letter from workplace or the previous university?
Yes. So I haven't mentioned, I did not spend much time on telling about some master's programs, but the process to apply to master's program, we also have an online application form. And what we require 2 recommendation letters from people who are aware of your work experience or your academics. So one recommendation letter that could be from one of your former professors or from your university that could recommend you, or if you're now working person and you do not have connection with your university or for your professors, so that could be recommendation letters from your employers. And then we require for the personal statement, or in other words, that would be a motivational letter where you would tell us how and why that particular master's program would benefit you and what would you expect from that. And we also require English proficiency test certificate that could be IELTS or TOEFL, and also your university degree documents, the university transcript and also diploma. If you're still in a university, so the process would be very similar, that first you provide us your academic progress results, and later once you graduate from university, then you provide us with your final diploma. And the last step is always interview, because we are not a big university, but we hear about each candidate, and each case is a very individual. And even if sometimes students have problems, we look into different cases very, very individually.
Okay, thank you very much for your answer. The next question, it goes, do you have PhD program? Could you explain us more about this program?
Well, unfortunately, we do not have PhD programs. So we just have 2 master programs at the moment. International management, masters in international management, and masters in TESOL. TESOL, this is abbreviation, teaching English as a second language.
Great. Next question, it goes, what is the minimum of GPA to apply to the master degree?
Okay. Well, since the admission score consists of different parts, so just to explain that, we do not have minimum requirement. Sometimes students, they perform well in the university, but maybe did not perform well during the interview, or their recommendations letters were not that good. So the admission score might be, so-so. But sometimes we have students who might, have graduated university like 5-6 years, but now have lots of work experience, received wonderful recommendations, has wonderful interview and motivation results, but grades from university were not that good. So that also might, it could become a great admission score, and we might consider for university. So with master programs and BA programs, we look into different cases very individually, because sometimes, when you look purely in documents, we see one thing, but when we meet the people, when we consider their work experience, when we look into what they are doing and the achievements, that could show us very different reality.
Interesting information. Next question, it goes, how much is the living cost in Lithuania?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's a European country. However, it's still considered quite a cheap country. So we would say if it's a student who's studying here on campus, and so the living expenses, meaning for food and other like leisure activities, we would say that average would be around 200 euros per month, not including housing and tuition fees. If you live on campus, so additional cost for housing would be around 120 euro to stay on campus. If you choose to live outside campus, and if you are renting an apartment on your own, so that could be from 150 euro to 300 euro. That could vary much. However, living expenses, food and leisure would be around 200 euros, as I mentioned. However, there are students who spend less, and of course, there are students who spend more.
Okay, thank you for your answer. The next question, for international students, do they need to speak local languages?
Well, of course, knowing languages is a benefit. However, our LCC campus is an English-speaking campus. So all classes are speaking English, all professors speak English. So it's a hub, a group of English-speaking. It's like a close community that is very different from the local community. However, in the first year, students, it's a mandatory, it's a compulsory course, it's Introduction to Lithuanian Language, because you go to groceries, you want to meet local people. So in the first year, all students, international students, they get to study the basics of Lithuanian language. So, you would make a difference between milk and sour milk in the shop. So those very basic things that helps you to survive in the country. However, a majority of Lithuanians, they do speak English. So students graduate from university and they don't know any Lithuanian, they still okay. However, knowing local language, that will help to find a work outside campus and also just benefit to you.
All right, thank you for your answer. The next question, it goes, is there any possibilities to do part-time job during the study?
Yes, there are possibilities. So we do not encourage first year students to work during the academic year because it's the first year and it's difficult. It's a new country, it's a new university, academics. There are a lot of things that you need to adjust to. So that's why we do not encourage working in the first year. However, during the first year, international students, they are applying for temporary residence permit. So once they get and receive their temporary residence permit, then they can start looking for a job because that permit allows them to work part-time during academic year and full-time during summertime. For international student, it might be a bit difficult to find a job outside campus because of the language barrier, but there are more and more companies that now are hiring our students and also English-speaking students. So there are more and more students who actually get the jobs outside campus.
And is it enough to rely on the part-time salary?
Part-time, of course, part-time would cover your food and leisure activities. That would not cover your tuition and housing fees. Or it could cover housing fees, but then, that would not cover your food fees.
Okay, thank you for your answer. The next question, and it would be the last question.
Okay.
What is the biggest challenge faced by international students to study in your university and your country? Thank you.
Okay. Well, of course, being in a different country, it's quite challenging for our students. Also, the different kind of academic environment because the study pace and also load is sometimes for some students overwhelming because students have to do a lot of reading, they have to do and prepare for studies each day. Sometimes for students coming from different backgrounds, usually they expect that, I will come to the last exam and that will be my final grade. However, it's a bit different system here at LCC where students have to study each day. However, we have very good support system. We have Student Success Center that particularly takes care of our freshmen so that they would integrate into the community and also academic life. So if students struggle with their writing, we have English tutors. If they struggle with the math class, we have math tutors and help them. We also have first year orientation when students arrive. They have orientation days. And also there's first year group that, freshmen are grouped in smaller groups of 10, and they have also one staff or faculty member who serves as a mentor and helps them in the first year and looks after them in the first year so that they would do well psychologically, mentally, academically, and financially.
So interesting information. I guess that's the end of our Q&A session. Just a reminder that you can connect with the representative through the information given earlier. Thank you, Ms. Widmante, for your presentation. And I hope to see you again. Have a good day. Bye-bye. And to all the audience, thank you for watching. And for your information, we will organize virtual fair this Friday and Saturday, where you can connect directly with the university. For more information, kindly visit our website, event.ehab.id. Thank you, and don't forget to see our institution webinar series tomorrow. Have a good evening, everyone.